Hey guys, it's ASP. So welcome to our next video. Today though is a video of a different kind from our channel. We're branching out into the world of Magic the Gathering. Been getting into Magic in a big way and starting to collect my own cards. So obviously I've bought the new Magic pre-release kit. It's a few days late, of course. Mutation, Evolution, Progress being the standards of Simic Guild. So we're going to take off the sleeve. We're going to open up the box. So the first thing you get inside the box, you get your 5 packs, and you get your kind of sealed kit as well. You have a nice, cool little D20 with the Simic symbol on it, which is cool. Little life counter. We'll hold on to that guy. You get a nice Simic card divider. Hope the camera's focusing right for us there, guys. That's cool. And the token is Goblin, a token creature, one little token creature. The image might be coming out poor, but it's actually quite a dark image of the Goblin, so I'm just gonna say that's that. So we take out our packs now. You've got this little guide here. I'll just open it up. It just kind of tells you about We Are Simic. Right down here. We are the Simic combo, and it gives you a bit of an intro. That's okay. That's a little something. Nothing major. So we'll put these cards down. We won't open them first, and then we will open up these first. These are our packs. So we'll start opening these guys. First, start here with the Domri guy from Gruul, and we will work our way through the packs one by one. So, sorry if this noise is annoying people. Some people maybe will like it. I'm not sure. Okay, first pack open. So I'm just going to go through in order. So the first card we have here is, I'm hoping it comes out in good quality, Shimmer of Possibility. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. So it's just a way of drawing through your deck if you need to get stuff. Try to get the thing to focus in. Here we go. We got Prowling Caracal, which is just a creature cat. We'll go through most of these basics pretty fast. A Rubble Belt Runner. The camera focuses in. There we go. It can't be blocked by creature tokens. That's kind of interesting. Nice Gruul color there. Next up, you got Territorial Boar. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, this card gets a +1/1 and gains Vigilance until end of turn. So you get a free non-tapping on it. Under City Embrace, target opponent sacrifice a creature. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, gain 4 life for a 2 and a black. So pretty cool so far. Nothing special. Stony Strength for 1 green. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control and untap that creature. That's a nice way of getting a defender up that your enemy wasn't expecting if you've already got a creature tapped. And we got Ceruli Caretaker, also for a green. This is a 0/3 defender. You get to tap it, and you get to tap an untapped creature you control and add 1 mana of any color. So basically turn any creature into Llanowar Elf, basically. So next up, this is a nice card. It's a Summary Judgment. It deals 3 damage to target tapped creature, and it has an addendum, which is one of the new features. Some people say it's the least popular feature in White or in Orzhov, but if you cast this spell during your main phase, it deals 5 damage to that creature instead, which is nice. So it's basically if you're willing to pay an instant during your main phase and not hold up mana for someone else's turn. It depends on the situation. You may need to kill something with 5 toughness. If you don't need to, if something is 3 or less, then you would just play this as you normally play instants. Next up, we have Goblin Gathering. Create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to 2 plus the number of cards named Goblin Gathering in your graveyard. So pretty good in standard, I guess. However, if you're playing Commander or things like that, it wouldn't be of any use. Blade Juggler. So this is one of the Spectacle cards, which is one of the new Rakdos things you can do. So Spectacle, instead of paying 4 and a black, you can pay 2 and a black. So basically, if you've done damage to an opponent's life this turn, or someone else has lost life, then you can Spectacle in a creature for the lower cost. So when Blade Juggler enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. So this is a draw. You have to pay for it, though, which isn't great. Ministrant of Obligation. Just get to zoom in again. This is Afterlife 2. So when this creature dies, you create 2 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. Enraged Ceratok. For those of you who want to build that Rhino deck, Enraged Ceratok can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So it just stomps over the little 1/1s and 2/2s. Next up is a junk controller. So it's defender. Not zooming in. Put target card from graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. So if you have something in the graveyard and then you have a way of tutoring for it, you get to put it back into your library and then tutor for it if you have a way. Oh, awesome. I actually really wanted this card. Immolation Shaman. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land that isn't a mana ability, Immolation Shaman deals 1 damage to that player. That will automatically trigger spectacle costs. Basically, if I need to spectacle something out and I have Immolation Shaman on the field and an opponent decides to go through and use an artifact or anything like that, I get to do damage for it. And also I can pay 3 and 2 reds to give Immolation Shaman plus 3/3 and menace until end of turn. Nice card, one I definitely wanted. We get the Rakdos Guildgate, one of the new guild gates, which is great. That's cool. And our token in the pack here is a really cool looking frog lizard. I'm not sure if that's zooming in. Kind of dark images aren't coming up in the camera, so I apologize. And the zoom is a bit, or the autofocus is a bit weird in this camera, so something I'll improve. And I'm sure you guys might complain on in the comments. Right, let's just, oh, cards flying everywhere. Let's move straight on to the second pack. Speed this up now. We'll go through the cards a lot faster in the next few packs. The first one was kind of cool because it was my first pack of the new Allegiance set, so I was kind of impressed with it. But the rest of these are going to go much faster. We've got another few to go. So we put this down here out of the way. So we definitely are splashing red a lot here. Is it zooming in nicely? There we go. Spike Wheel Acrobat. It has a spectacle as well. And it's just that it's a 5/2, definitely a nice attacking creature, human rogue. So yeah, we can speculate in for cheap. Prying Eyes. So draw 4 cards, then discard 2 cards. So basically, you get to draw 2 cards and throw away 2 cards. Gets you through your deck though to get looking. If you're looking for that card to get to the top sooner, you get to put 2 cards you don't want kind of out or that aren't useful to you in that situation, and just keep going. Impassioned Orator. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So a nice life regain mechanic if you're playing Orzhov. Or Azorius, it's white. Footlight Fiend. When Footlight Fiend dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So that's pretty cool there. Sorry, the zoom is going to go in and out a little bit, so if it's annoying anybody, I do apologize. Gift of Strength. Target creature gets +3. Oh, it's not zoomed at all. Target creature gets +3/3 and gains reach until end of turn. So nice. Oh, there we go. There it is. So the imagery pretty cool there. So that's Gift of Strength. I definitely will focus the camera orientation differently in future videos. My first time doing an opening, so I wasn't really sure how to set the cameras up. So next up, we got Wrecking Beast. It's a beast. It's got Riot, which is another ability. This is on the Gruul side of things. So when this enters the battlefield, I get to either put a +1/+1 counter on it or give it haste. This guy has Trample. So I mean, giving him haste, he's already a 6/6. Man, I'm losing focus a lot. Where's it got? There you go. He's already a 6/6 with Trample. So if you give him haste when he comes into the field, you know, you can easily start doing some big damage to opponents that weren't expecting it straight away. Next up, we have the Skitter Eel. And focusing seems to be getting worse, which is annoying. Come on, camera. Closer. There we go. Skitter Eel has Adapt. This is another one of the new abilities. And is it going to work? It is more the Simic side of things, which is great. I don't know why it's not zooming in. I don't know. Anyway, it's got Adapt too. So if it has no +1/+1 counters on it, I get to put 2 counters on it. That costs 2 and a blue, and the creature is 3 and a blue, a 3/3 for 3 and a blue. Next up is Deface. So when I bring Deface out, it's just for 1 red. I get to either choose to destroy a target artifact or destroy a target creature with Defender. So it could be good against the artifact decks. I can't imagine you're using the Defender destroy too much. Nice, we get the Orzhov Locket here, which gives us a, oh man, it's not zooming. There is the artwork. Gives us a white and a black, or we can sacrifice it to draw cards also. That costs us 3 generic mana or 3 colorless. Next up, ooh, this is really cool artwork. We have, if I can get the zoom right, we have Frenzied Arynx, who is a cat beast with Riot as well and Trample. The zooming is really annoying, so I know this is going to be annoying a lot of you guys viewing this. Trying to change this. But anyway, he's 2, a red and a green for a 3/3 cat beast with Riot and Trample. And you can pay 4, a red and a green, to give him +3/0 until end of turn, making him a 6/3 in any given turn with Trample. So that's definitely good, even if it's a one-time use. So next up we have, I need to get this zoom right. There we go. It's a bit off tilted, but you can still read it. It's Gyre Engineer, who is a Vidalcan wizard, and he just gets a tap to add a green and a blue, which is nice. And he costs 3 mana, a 1 green and a blue for a 1/1. So he's expensive, but he does get the tap for 2 mana every time once he's out, so he definitely does pay himself back. We have Essence Capture next. Essence Capture is just counter a target creature spell and put a +1/1 counter on up to one target creature you control. It's a permanent counter, which is great. So it's basically, enhancing your creatures and a counter all in one. That's really good for 2 blue. That's not bad at all. Next up is Gates Ablaze. So basically you pay 2 and a red and you get to deal X damage to each creature, where X is the number of gates you control. So if you stack your deck with a bunch of gates, you can definitely do a lot of damage with this. Next up, Verity Circle. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. And for 4 and a blue, you can tap target attacking creature without flying. And annoyingly, these cards, man, these won't zoom in for me. I apologize. We're just going to move on. It's not exactly a special thing. And we also have, if it zooms in, a Gruul Gilgate. That's cool. And the token, we've already seen it today, but it's a Goblin. So on to the next pack. So I would say nothing groundbreaking so far in the kit. Some good cards, definitely things that will get used, but I can see already I've opened the next one, and I can already see a card that I definitely want to make use of. I can get a few of them. The first one is Persistent Petitioners. So a human advisor, costs me 1 and a blue for a 1/3, and I can pay 1, tap them. Target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target player puts the top 12 cards of their library into their graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Persistent Petitioners. So in formats like Commander, where it's only allowed 1 version of a card, or even in normal standard where 4 versions is the max, Persistent Petitioners, you can have 18 versions in there or more, whatever you want. So this is a card I definitely want to build a scheme around. I've already seen people do it where you're basically just getting Persistent Petitioners out, tapping a bunch of them, and just milling people to death. It's definitely an alternative win strategy. So Persistent Petitioners, that's a good card. That's definitely one of the best pulls we've had so far. Next up, Has the Officer. I'm going to say Has the. Sorry if that pronunciation wrong, but the double A makes me want to really broaden it. So when Has the Officer enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/1 only until end of turn, though. I'm never a huge fan of those end of turn mechanics unless, well, really, I'm just not really a fan of them. I think, I want permanent improvements on my creatures. Next up, it's a really cool looking Rakdos card. Scorch Mark deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So if you've got an opponent who is Golgari, I guess, and dredging up their cards, and you want to exile something that's really dangerous, you can try and do that. Next up, definitely splashing a lot of Rakdos today. We got the Rakdos Roundabout. He's an Ogre Warrior, and whenever Rakdos Roundabout becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the Planeswalker, or player or Planeswalker it's attacking. So we can just, here we go. So if you want to attack you, it's kind of like a semi-trample mechanic where it definitely gets at least 1 damage through, even if it gets blocked by another creature. Next up, again, the artwork is pretty cool, I think, in some of these. We have Steeple Creeper, and it's a frog snake, so it's a cool creature type. So for 2 and a green, you get a 4/2. That's pretty good straight away. And for 3 and a blue, so definitely going into the Simic colors here, Steeple Creature gains flying until end of the turn. And I'm not sure why he gets flying, and I can't get the artwork to zoom again. Trying to tilt it, that's not really working, but we'll move on. And we've already got one of the lockets. Here's the next one. We have the Rakdos locket. So red and black, that's pretty cool. Next up, definitely splashing into Orzhov, we got a white and a black instant called Final Payment. As an additional cost to cast this spell, pay 5 life, or sacrifice a creature, or sacrifice an enchantment, and you get to destroy target creature. So depending on your situation, you may choose which of those 3 situations you want to pay, and then you get to destroy your opponent's creature. So next up, again, sticking in the Orzhov side of things, or maybe Azorius, we got Justiciar's Portal. And it's an instant. There we go. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains first strike until end of turn. This is like a mini phasing out of 1 creature. Normally you had the Teferi's Puzzle Box. No, Teferi's Protection, I believe, where you basically phase your whole board out and phase it back in. This just lets you to do it to a creature that's being targeted, and you want to keep it on the board. Everyone's trying to remove it. It's only a creature though, so you can't do it to your planeswalker, unfortunately. But that's fine. Back to Rakdos with get the point. Destroy target creature. Scry 1 for 3 red and a black. So it's an expensive destroy target creature, but you do get the scry mechanic off it as well. So some value there, but it's an expensive card. Um, Not in value, but I mean in terms of mana. So next up for 2 and a blue, we have the Gateway Sneak because of Vidalcan Rogue for 1 and 3. Whenever he enters the battlefield under my control, Gateway Sneak can't be blocked this turn. And whenever Gateway Sneak deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So yeah, if you used him with is it Tetsu Vav? There's another blue card where basically all creatures with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. He would definitely fit into a deck working with that creature where he can't be blocked, and therefore you get a draw mechanic instantly every turn with him. That's the best way I think I could use him right now. Another Shaman, we have, it's Gruul, it's Sunder Shaman. For 2 red and 2 green, so a bit pricey, but Sunder Shaman can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And whenever Sunder Shaman deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. That is a very nice mechanic. He's a 5/5 as well for 4 mana, so I think he definitely has some value. Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Moving on, we have Knight of the Last Breath. Again, another high mana creature here. 5, a white and a black for a giant knight. And he has that for 3, you can sacrifice another non-token creature to create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. And this, he also has Afterlife 3, so that when he dies, you get 3 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. So not bad in terms of if you need to get a board presence out and get some blockers on the board, definitely you can create a lot of spirits with him. Next up is another creature beast, again staying in the white colors here, so Azorius and Orzhov. It's the Lumbering Battlement, a 4/5 for 5 mana, 4 and a white. He has Vigilance, which is nice, and whenever Lumbering Battlement enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-token creatures you control until it leaves the battlefield. Lumbering Battlement gets +2/2 for each card exiled with it. So okay, interesting. Definitely a different kind of mechanic and kind of nice kind of stuff. And we have a foil. Wait, we got a foil now. We already have this card, Gift of Strength, but now we get a foil version, which is kind of cool. So that's nice. And we have another guild gate, this time the Simic guild gates. There's 3 of the gates now collected, which is cool. And our token in this deck, Topter. Nice little 1/1 flying Topter. So 2 packs to go on to the second last one. Dropped it already. Let's just rip this pack open. Here we go. So, starting off, there he is, Gore Clanwrecker. He is a tree. Sorry, the zooming is very annoying for me as well. Sorry, guys. For 3 and a red, that's getting worse. Is it getting worse? Yeah. He's a human warrior with Riot and Menace. So, yeah, he's a 2/2 for 4 mana, but he does have Riot. You can bring him in with a +1/1 counter or haste, and he has Menace. So you can only block him with 2 or more creatures. So in turn 3 or 4, yeah, I'm not sure. If his mana was lower, he'd be really useful. You could get him out early and get some damage in early hits, do some, aggro attacking, but I don't think he's got huge use. Okay, so next up, Fairy Duelist for 1 and a blue. He's a 1/2 flash flying. He has his ability, so you can play him as an instant. Nice way if your opponent thinks he's getting a free hit on you, you can flash out a defender here. And when Fairy Duelist enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. So this is a really good way of basically negating someone's attack if they have a creature that has 3 attack or 2 attack. Basically, you'll be able to block effectively keep your creature on the field. And it's nice way of just basically shutting them down, wasting their turn, tapping their creature out, and then you'll be able to respond. Next up, we have the Civic Stalwart, who's looks like a Loxodon creature with the Elephant Soldier here. For 3 and a white, he's a 3/3. And when he enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/1 until end of turn. So all creatures. So if you're bringing him out later in the game and you have a bit of a board state, you can maybe swing in with one of your creatures all beefed up a little bit, which is cool. Next up, under City's Embrace, 2 and a black. It's an instant. Target opponent sacrifice a creature. If you control a creature with power, actually I already did this, so yeah, I'm going to move on. We already had it in an earlier pack. That's a second copy. This is Steeple Creeper. We already covered Steeple Creeper, so that's another copy of him. Gruul Locket, another one of the lockets, this time red and green. So that's a cool locket. I think we have 3 of the lockets now as well. Next up, Azorius Knight Arbiter, 3 a white and a blue for a human knight with vigilance, and he can't be blocked. He's a 2/5. So yeah, good. It's pretty good. You get straight to the heart of things if you can beef him up. Next up is Senate Courier. Oh man, every time I try and turn a card over, I'm just losing the focus. Camera's going crazy. He's a bird creature, and he's got flying. He's a 1/4, and he has the ability where you pay 1 and a white, and Senate Courier gains vigilance until end of turn. So you basically can prevent him from being tapped if you have the extra mana. And nope, not really coming back. So we're just going to ignore it and move on because he's not that special. Next up, we got Burn Bright. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn for 2 and a red. There we go, 2 and a red. So there we go. There's the artwork. I do apologize. For future of these videos for Magic players watching this, if you come to my channel for the first time and because this is my first Magic video, yeah, I apologize if the camera isn't perfectly focusing when I'm moving my hands between it. It's just my movement is causing it to try and refocus every time. So I will figure that out next time. This is a cool card though, Vindictive Vampire. Very annoying angles with the zoom. So Vindictive Vampire, even if maybe I do it this way, is it better? Is that better? No, it's not really better. So whenever another creature you control dies, Vindictive Vampire deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So that's nice in games where it's multiplayer like Commander. He's also a 2/3 for 4 mana, 3 and a black. So is it going to zoom? There's a zoom. So you get to have a quick look at the artwork. It's pretty cool. So moving on. Oh, a nice card here, I think, for me anyway. Cavalcade of Calamity. Whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking, which is basically a nice enchantment if you need to be doing spectacle triggers all the time. If you're playing Rakdos, this triggers your spectacle every single time you need it to. All you got to do is swing with any creature, even if you know it can be blocked and stopped. You get to get that damage through no matter what with Cavalcade of Calamity. So this is your automatic spectacle trigger. You get to then cheat out your mana cost on your spectacle creatures. So that's a really good card. I'll definitely be putting this into my decks. Cavalcade of Calamity. Anti-focus is gone. It was there for a while though, so we'll move on. Nice. So we'll move on now to a Simic card, the Combine Guildmage. So for 1 green and 1 blue, you get to bring out a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. For 1 and a blue, 1 and a green, you tap this card, and this turn, each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. And then for 1 and a blue, you get to move a 1/1 counter from target creature you control onto another target creature you control. So it'll get you to basically free movement of your counters around the place, which can be really nice. Yeah, definitely if you're building up something, if you had a Scoop Mob in your deck and you just want to start moving its counters all over the place, that's really fun stuff you can do for 1 of the blue, and you have to tap the card. So it's only once per turn, unless you have a way of untapping the card and retapping, untapping, retapping, and a combination. Priest of Forgotten Gods. These dark cards definitely don't zoom that well. You can tap this card that is Human Cleric, which is a 1/2 for 1 and a black, to sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature, and you get to add 2 black mana and draw a card. Seems like there's a lot of utility to this. Players lose life and sacrifice creature, and it's either one opponent or multiple when you're playing things like Commander. And you get to add 2 mana and draw a card. So yeah, for two mana, this is actually not bad at all. Not bad at all. Really good creature card, and would fit into Rakdos, which seems to be between. I bought a Simic pack, but it's definitely pushing me into Rakdos. Rakdos, however you want to pronounce that. Here we have a foil Acrobat. Acrobat is a human rogue, and it also has a spectacle cost that we've spoken about. So instead of paying 1, a black and a red, you can just play a black and a red. So you can alternate have 2 abilities with Acrobat. I'm not sure if it's zooming in with the foil, but if you pay a black, it gains Death Touch until end of turn, and if you pay the red, it gets +2, -2 until end of turn. It starts off as a 2/3. You're gonna get that zoom in. I don't think we are. Kind of annoying. I apologize, guys. Okay, so another foil. That's cool. Now we have another one of the guild gates. This time the Orzhov guild gate. Won't spend much time on those. Looks pretty cool. And another token. This time a spirit creature token. We're on to our last pack, but we do still have the seal kit over here ready to go. So 2 more things to go. So we're just going to fly on through these now because video's starting to get long and people might get bored of me just opening these cards. But it's a new kit, so people kind of want to see what's out there. This was in the Simic pre-release kit. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's just fly through this last one and the seal one, and we can wrap up the video. So first up, we have Arrester's Admonition. Return target creature to its owner's hand. And for the addendum, if you cast this spell during your main phase, draw a card. Again, the addendum is giving you stuff you can do if you play it during your main phase. Basically, playing instants, not like their sorcery speed, kind of is giving you a boost. Not the best mechanic for sure. Next up is the Viscopa Vampire. Viscopa, sorry, apologies. Viscopa Vampire. It has lifelink. It's a 3/1. Costs you 2 and then a white or a black. So it's basically giving you the Orzhov color in there, which is great. Next up, we have a sorcery card called Savage Smash. Savage Smash, target creature you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. If it fights target creature you don't control, oh cool, so it's basically like a prey upon then. So you boost your creature up and say it specifically targets another creature, so that's cool. That costs you 1, a red, and a green, or and a green. So next up, we go back to more Simic or Azorius with Slimebind for 1 and a blue. It's an enchantment aura. You can flash it out. You can enchant the creature, and the enchanted creature gets -4/-0. So a really good way to slow down an opponent who's gotten bulky, and you can't really you don't want to block and lose creatures. You just Slimebind it, slow it down. So next up is Noxious Grudion. And Noctis Grudion for 2 and a black is a beast creature with Death Touch, which has 2/2 power toughness. So pretty simple, a Death Touch little guy for 2 and a black. Yeah, definitely if you're playing Rakdos, like I think I might be building a Rakdos. I was building Simic, I was aiming for Simic, wanted Prime Speaker Vanifar, I wanted to build Simic, but I think I've got some good cards for Rakdos now, so we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks of building. Next up, 2 and a green for an instant called Sagittarius Volley. And Sagittarius Volley destroys target creature with flying. It deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent controls. So destroy 1 flyer and then deal 1 damage to all the other flyers your opponents control. All opponents across all fields. So again, going back to Commander, it would deal it to multiple players. Next up is a nice, again, Rakdos Gruul, Act of Treason. So for 2 and a red, you get to gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. So you can instantly use it for that 1 turn, which is great. So yeah, it's definitely a Rakdos card. It's got the Rakdos symbol on the guy. If I can get it to zoom in and not be blurry for a change, you can see the guy in the background there has the Rakdos symbol on his head, and he's attacking his own guys. That's pretty cool. So next is the Imperious Oligarch. And the Imperious Oligarch is a human cleric for a white and a black. It has Vigilance and Afterlife 1. We've already spoke about the Afterlife mechanic. It only has Afterlife 1. Other cards have had 2 and 3, so it's okay, but not great. Next up, for 4 and a black, we have the Catacomb Crocodile. It's a crocodile creature, and it's a 3/7. So for 4 and a black, you get a really, really good blocker who can do some damage for sure with 3 on its attack. 7 toughness, though. That's actually interesting. And the flavor text, I'll just read it out here because it's kind of fun. I am Sewer King, said Rat. I am quick and cunning, and I know every tunnel. No, I am king, said Zombie. I am cold and deadly, and no rot can harm me. Then Croc came and ate them both. That's good. I like that. I do anyway. So next up for 2 and a red, we have Burning Tree Vandal. It's a human rogue creature with Riot, and whenever it attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So if you have a card in your deck that's not giving you any benefit, you can just get a draw feature off the back of it. It's a 2/1 for 2 and a red. Pretty straightforward. Oh, we got to turn it sideways now because we have one of these split cards. We have Depose, Deploy. So the Depose section, you get to tap a target creature and draw a card. And for Deploy, create 2/1/1 colorless top-tier artifact creature tokens with flying, and you gain 1 life for each creature you control. That's nice if you've got a bunch of tokens on the field. You could really, if your health's getting low and you need to just give yourself an injection, definitely Deploy could be the way to go. Otherwise, definitely Depose would be my preference there. So early game, definitely Depose. Late game, maybe Deploy for sure. We got another Shaman coming up. So for 2 and a red, we got the Clamor Shaman. It's a Goblin Shaman with Riot, and whenever it attacks, target creature and opponent controls can't block this turn. So if you want to stop one creature who can definitely stop you from destroy him on this defense, you can prevent 1 creature blocking, and that's nice. Next up, dipping back over to blue. For 2 and a blue, we have Code of Constraint. It's an instant, and target creatures get -4/-0 until end of turn. So kind of like a Slimebind we saw a while ago, but you also get to draw a card, and if you cast it during your main phase, tap that creature, and it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step for the addendum feature. Not bad for 2 and a blue. That's one of the better addendums I think I've seen, for sure. Oh, we have another one of the sideways cards. This time it is Bedeck Bedazzle. So for Bedeck, target creature gets +3/-3 until end of turn. Good if you need to get some instant damage in, but for them, Bedazzle, destroy target non-basic land. Bedazzle deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Definitely trying to get rid of someone's Gilgate if they're, if you want to stop them from tapping so much early on, can be useful, but it's 4 a black and a red for that. Definitely Bedeck might be the use on this. I don't think it's, I don't think Bedazzle's got much use. We get another one of the Gilgates. Now we have the Azorius Gilgate as well. That's cool. We've splashed into, I think, all the Gilgates now, possibly, or if not, most of them. And our last token is a human, just a human basic 1/1 token. So let's open up the last thing we have. We can actually see the first card. It's Simic. It's Zagana Utopian Speaker. I'll take off the foil because it's definitely causing glare. And I'll show it again. It's not Prime Speaker Vannifar, which is what we wanted. It's a cool foil, and it has the Simic symbol, so we'll get it up closer. You can see the Simic symbol shimmering there, and there we go. Zagana Utopian Speaker, legendary creature Merfolk Wizard. When Zagana Utopian Speaker enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with a +1/1 counter on it, draw a card. And I'm losing the focus now again straight away. I think it's the shine off the foil possibly not helping, but and now we're losing it. Coming closer. It's so annoying. You can play 4 green and a blue to adapt 4, so adding 4 +1/1 counters on it, which is great. And each creature you control with a +1/1 counter on it has trample. So that is awesome if you get to put 1/1 counters on something. Wow, it's awesome actually. So if you've built a counter deck or proliferate way in any way, yeah, you're giving all those counter creatures trample, which is something I definitely need in my current green blue deck. So this card definitely has a home there. Not sure if it's going to be the commander. It has the ability to be. Definitely a really nice, cool foil card that I will try and introduce to my deck. I am in the process of building Simic, so let's see how that goes. We also have the Simic Locket. So that's again one of the lockets, adding blue and green. So that's cool. That's just the same as all the other lockets. And this is a funny looking card. It's Shark to Crab, seen it in the reviews. It's got the Adapt 1. And whenever one or more +1/1 counters are put on Shark to Grab, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So what I need to do is just find a way to introduce the counters, find the enchantments, find the creatures that do the counter adding, and then I have between Zagana and Shark to Crab, ways of tapping, ways of doing other stuff. So yeah, not bad. Next up, we have Wall of Lost Thoughts, which is a defender wall creature. When Wall of Lost Thoughts enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of the library into the graveyard. So yeah, not much, but it's a 0/4 defender for 1 and a blue. So a cheap way of getting a good blocker out. Next up, we have Trollbred Guardian, and Trollbred Guardian is a Troll Frog Warrior for 4 and a green. He's a 5/5 though, which is nice. And for 2 and a green, you can adapt to him. And each creature you control with a +1/1 counter on it has trample as well. So another creature that would give trample to your team, which acts as trample for me. And apologies, that only that non-blurred at all when I was trying to show him. There he is, Trollbred Guardian. Right. Again, look, the blurring. We'll work on it, guys. We'll work on it. So next up is a quite a pretty card. Here we go. It's Sylvan Brush Strider. It's a beast. When he enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. He's a 3/2 for 2 and a green. Pretty straightforward card there. I think I'm holding a little closer actually maybe is helping. Next up for 3 and a blue is Skitter Eel. It's a fish crab, and for 2 and a blue you can adapt to. It's got 3 power, 3 toughness. So moving on again. Next up we have an instant for 1 blue and 1 green. We have the Growth Spiral. It's an instant. You get to draw a card, and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you've played land that turn already, so it's an extra land you get to play down. So kind of a mana ramp and card draw effect, which is cool. Sage's Row Savant for 1 and a blue. It's a Vidalcan Wizard as well, and when it enters the battlefield, you get Scry 2. So obviously being able to Scry gives you access to cards you want to keep, or be able to remove them and get other cards. We all know what Scry does. Stony Strength for 1 green. I think I've already seen this. Put a 1/1 counter on your creature and untap it. I think we had that a few packs ago. And Shimmer of Possibility. I think we also did this maybe earlier. 1 and a blue. It's a sorcery. Look at the top 4 cards. So yeah, pretty simple effects. Next up, it's one of the new arts from Mammoth Spider. I have the older art from Mammoth Spider, but this is a 4 and a green for a beast with reach, and it's got 3/5. There's the art. So it's new art for Mammoth Spider. That's cool. New printing there. Next up, this is a weird looking Homunculus Mutant. So for 1 a green and a blue, the Aeromunculus is a Homunculus Mutant creature with flying. For 2 a green and a blue, you get to adapt 1. It's a 2/3 natural. And we've already seen this gift of strength. So we have 2 gift of strength plus a foil gift of strength. So they really turned up. And another Simic Gilgate. It's cool. We definitely wanted more of those. So that's great. We have another Simic Gilgate. And that is all the cards, guys. We've gone through. So Zagana is definitely cool. I got some of the Gilgates, some of the Lockets, which are definitely useful in the new format. Definitely some cool Rakdos stuff for sure. The Trigger Spectacle, that enchantment that every time you attack, you get to do 1 damage to a player or planeswalker you're attacking, guaranteeing some damage gets through, and you can prevent planeswalkers from ultimating if you need to just ping them for 1 and keep them off that ultimate each time. Potentially is a good way of doing that as well. So it's my first video on Magic, guys. Hopefully you liked it. I'm sure some of the comments might not be positive because of the blurry images, or maybe you just didn't like the format. But any comments and feedback is great, guys, and I'm definitely going to try and improve the quality of the content and bring you more in the future. Also, coming tomorrow, we will have some Magic Arena gameplay using the new Ravnica Legions cards. Not these, but ones I have online, playing some Magic Arenas. Hope you can join me for a live stream of that. So until tomorrow, guys, see you.